In this video, we are going to explore how this website works. It's startmacroeconomics.com. It's the website for the textbook. If you take a look here on the starting page, you will find that you have go to chapters, you have access data, you have the interactive quizzes, and you have the drag and drop interactive exercises, and you have macroeconomic news and AI tutor. So these are coming soon. They have not yet been completed, so it's coming soon, but I'll show you the other ones. So if you click here, it's going to take you immediately to the site, and if you want to read any of the chapters, we have in total 19 chapters. All you need to do is just click here. If you click on read chapter, it's going to take you here and you can scroll and read the chapter immediately. Now, depending on the web browser you are using, it may ask you if you want to install the PDF reader so that you can read it. Now, if you want to get out of here, all you need to do is to click on home to get out of there. However, if you're interested in taking a look at the quiz of this particular chapter, you just click chapter 1 quiz and it's going to take you here. This is a scenario-based quiz and it's going to, we basically have 51 questions. We can add it depending on need. So it gives a scenario and all what the student has to do is to choose any of the options. So if I click here, for example, it will tell me that it's wrong and it's going to explain why it's wrong. So I can go to the next question and I'll just click. It tells me that it's wrong and it explains. So even if it's correct, it's still going to give me an explanation to make sure the student understands. So we are using mostly scenario-based questions there. So if I want to leave there, I can click chapters and it's going to bring me back here. Now, if I do not want to go through reading and I just want to click quiz, I can click quiz and it's going to take me immediately there to do exactly the same thing. Now, one thing to note is that we do not store the data of students to avoid loss. So it's not going to store your information. Anytime you come, you can just go through the 51 questions and have fun with them. Now let's go back to the main site and I'll show the next thing. So here we are talking of Canadian macroeconomic data sets. If you click on access data, it's going to bring you here. It may take a few seconds to load because it's a lot of data. This is data coming directly from Stats Canada. What we've done is that we've cleaned it. So all you need to do is to choose the period you want and then download it, or you can just click there and you can see what's going on. Now, from time to time, the charts may be broken because Statistics Canada at times changes the name of variables. But once it's broken and we notice, we will go in and change the code to make it work. For example, here you have GDP at market price. If you click here, you have different options. So if I click maybe final consumption expenditure and I click something else, it keeps adding that. However, here you can just see your data. Now, generally, the advice is choose a data range. If you click here, you can choose the range. Let's say we want to choose a certain year. You can just type here and change the year. I can come here. Let's say I want 2020. I can just do that and hit enter and it's going to give me from 2020. I have the option to click download and download that specific data based on selection, based on what I filtered. Or I can click all data and it's going to give me all the data. Now you are dealing with clean data, it's going to give you all the data and you can play with it. So at times for exercises in class, you can tell them you want them to look for certain indicators and they can filter it, download it, plot it in Excel, or just come here and You can also download the chart. It's pretty straightforward. So if they come here and they click on this, it's going to download the chart for them. Now, if you take a look, you'll find that we have lots of data sets. Here it's just GDP. If we scroll, you have CPI. However, CPI, you generally have to come here to select one or more products. For example, you can take all items. If you want, you can take food and so on and so forth. Now, if you click here, you will see the charts. Now, if you take a look, you'll see that it's up to December because the one for January is not yet there because we are still in January. Now, if you scroll, you'll have weekly earnings. You can choose by industry and also play around with the chart. Okay, here it shows something has been changed. I'll surely go later on during the week to adjust that. That's what I was talking about. From time to time, they do some changes. Here we have current account. All you need to do is to choose whatever you want and you will get your data. We have the time series and you have the labor market. Same thing. You can check for Canada. If you want Quebec, you go for Quebec, the age group, whatever you want, and then you can take a look at how it looks, and you can also download the data. You can just hit download. It's going to download it into your download folder, but it will be what you've filtered. Or you just click here and choose the whole data set. Then you have to deal with that. So if you take a look, we have a number of data sets. Play with it. And that is it about data sets. So I'll come back to home. Now we will go to the interactive quiz. This is where we really add value for students because all they need to do is to go there from chapter to chapter as we've earlier seen and then play with it. So each chapter has such a quiz. Okay, for sure if they spend time with it, it's very likely they will become very comfortable with that topic. Now here we go to the interactive one. So I'll click on that and we have two main interactive charts. The first one, we are dealing with demand and supply and where we put it together. And then we have the short run. So here we have the SR and AD analysis. If you take a look, you'll see that here we have the, short run aggregate demand, and we have the short run aggregate supply, and here we put them together. Okay, now I will strongly recommend you wait before using this because I have to fix certain things in it, but these ones are okay. So if I click here, for example, start practice, it gives me the option to take a mix or to separate them. In this case, you want to look at a change in demand or a change in quantity demanded. So if I simply take mix, if I click there, it gives me the option to determine, because here you have your question. I will click here. If I think, so it says show the effect of moving the appropriate elements, blah, blah, blah. Winter approaches and consumers expect hitting oil prices. So if I think that change in demand is what is being described here, I can click there and all I need to do, so if you move your mouse, you see that when you come here, it changes. I can click and then I can do the change in demand and I can click submit answer. If I click submit answer, it's going to tell me if I did a good job or not. Here it says excellent. So I can move on. I can click to next. And then the next one, I can, if I think it's still change in demand, let's say I think it's now a change in quantity demanded. All I need to do is to make sure my mouse comes here. I can see that the cursor changes. I click on it, then I can move it up or I move it down. I have the option to reset or to submit my answer. So if I click submit, it's going to tell me how I did. Now it says not quite, blah, 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 blah. so I can move on, and that's just how it goes. So generally, when you want to reset this, I strongly advise you go and click interactive, brings you back here, and if you want, you take demand analysis, you take supply analysis, or you take both. It's up to you. Let's say you want to play around with all of them, not just demand or supply. If you want to play with all of them, it's the same thing. So you have the question. Let's say you think it's supply that is moving. So I click on supply and I can increase supply. Now, what if you think it's supply and demand? Of course, you can also do both. You click on it and you do that. And then you submit your answer and it tells you it's not correct, and it's going to explain why it's not correct. So I think this feature will really help if students spend a bit of time playing with it, playing with demand and supply. So let me come back to the main page. If I click on macroeconomics, it always takes me to the start page. So if students spend time on the interactive quizzes, which is scenario based, and on the drag and drop, it definitely is going to benefit them. And soon we are going to complete the work we are doing here. Okay, I think that's it for now. If there's any change, I'll get back to you. In the coming week, we are going to also implement the password so that only those who have bought the book will be able to use. Okay, that's it for now.